Senator Slotkin, that sounds nice.
You know, it's pretty good.
Feels good.
Yeah, it's good.
You speak Arabic, you speak Swahili, you speak English. How would you like me to conduct this interview?
English would be fantastic.
English would be great.
Yeah.
Okay. So, some big news today. Mike Waltz is out.
Yeah.
You are, and I don't say this very often, a Democrat with an impressive national security background, working in the CIA, security debriefing Obama every morning, working at the Pentagon. Yeah. How worried should we be now? Pete Hegseth is Pete Hegseth.
Yeah, he is. He is Pete Hegseth.
What's your take on how we are right now?
I mean, you know, I don't think anyone feels great about where we are right now. I don't feel like...
This is Marco Rubio's fourth job.
Yeah, he has four jobs now. And I think that the truth is, like, there are some really serious international challenges, and we just can't have the B team in here. We need serious people. And I think that Pete Hegseth should resign and is just not where we need to be on a Secretary of Defense. And
Trump was just in Michigan for his 100th day. You won in Michigan on the same ticket as Trump. What do Michigan voters want, do you think?
Well, Michiganders are very independently minded people, as you know.
Yep.
And I
I'm
think,
a Michigander.
Yes, he's a Michigander, and we're very proud of him, right?
Hold on, we got to tell these coastals. This is the shape of Michigan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, you know, I think, so we're independently minded, but I think the two things that really came through in the last election was, one, it was a pocketbook election, right? People wanted someone who was going to put more money in their pocket. And then number two, if I can be frank, is a little harder to grab onto. It's like people are looking for a little alpha energy. Yeah. And I think I had like a little bit more alpha energy than the average Dem. Okay. And I want us to get more alpha energy as Democrats.
Okay. And this comes from my wife. What is alpha energy?
Yeah. I just think, well, okay, you're a Midwesterner, and let me explain for those who are not Midwesterners. Like, think of who we identify with as, like, our big leaders, right? Right now, most popular man in Michigan is the coach of the Lions, right? Dan Campbell, and go Lions. And he is just, but he loves big, he's tough with people, but he, like, will hug you and give, you know, and cry his eyes out, and his guys do great. Like, we want leadership, right? We're in a moment of crisis in the country, and a moment of change as well. And so we want leaders who can, like, lead us through and light the tunnel so that we can get through this moment of our history. And that is, like, not a quiet, calm diplomat. You know, that is like, let's go. And I think that is what Michiganders are looking for in their leaders in the state, but also across the country.
People are responding very well to that. You know, my daughter finished a puzzle the other day. She's 5, and I gave her this big hug, and I was crying, and she was like, Dad, I love this alpha male energy right now. You've said adopt the alpha energy, but you've also said that the Dems, there's a perception of the party as weak and woke.
It's actually what Michiganders said. There was a poll in February, and those were the words identified most with the Democratic brand.
Yes.
And I think that, you know, again, I don't think it's just Trump voters who want something different. I think our government is a 20th century government, and we're in the 21st century. It needs to change. No one loves our health care. No one loves how we do education. No one loves how our government works. So we need to change it, but we want responsible change, not reckless change, not just breaking stuff to break stuff. But I think we need to hear that, and I think that Michiganders understand that, like, we can't stay the same, we can't look backwards, we have to look forward, but we want to know who that is. And I think the Democratic Party should be leading instead of just saying, no, status quo, don't change. No, embrace change, but, like, put your marker down on what you think should happen. Talk about how we need a stronger middle class in this country, because it's shrinking. It is. Like, don't try to hide it. It is. So to me, that's like the vision piece. And then because I'm from the national security world, like, at the Pentagon, you don't go to the bathroom without a plan, right? Like, you're constantly planning.
That's what I've been doing wrong all these years.
So I think, like, Democrats need a plan. And I've been in the Senate for like 112 or 15 days, And I got tired of waiting for someone else to do it.
Yeah.
So I just like wrote a war plan, decamped with a bunch of my closest like friends and advisors, and wrote our best stab at what we should be doing as a country to push back on the threats to our economy and our democracy.
I love that. As a Michigander, I worry maybe that you are feeling a burden of a Democratic national message when you're a junior senator representing Michigan.
Yeah.
Are you? Michigan first at this point?
Well,
yes.
I mean, yeah. I got the chance to give the response to the State of the Union, and I made a choice to do that from Michigan.
Yep.
Because if I could give a speech that could work in Michigan and not turn me into a Saturday Night Live skit, then I think it would work for the country. Like, Michigan, I think, is a good bellwether, a good canary in the coal mine on what's going on, particularly on our economy right now. And so all I can do is, like, take the lessons every single day from what is going on, no shit, no kidding, in my state, and then sort of express to people that I'm going to go fight for them and fight for my state, and that means a good thing for us, but a good thing for the country too.
Donald Trump spoke for an hour and 40 minutes that night. You spoke for 10 minutes, and I think you said more than him, actually. But I want to get back a little bit to this woke word, because it's not like Harris and Walz were out there saying they were woke. No one was campaigning they were woke. The Republicans effectively targeted the Dems as woke. And I wonder if some of this alpha male energy you're talking about.
I didn't say alpha male.
I'm adding the male because that's who I hope I am.
You're a dude.
Yeah.
But it's alpha. You don't have to be a male to be alpha energy.
Correct.
Have some alpha.
And thank you for correcting me. Thank you for correcting me. Is taking back how you're not allowed to label me. I will tell you what I am and who we are. And I wonder if the Dems can do that effectively.
Well, that's what we have to do.
What you have to do. Yes.
I think there's no choice, and I think you're right that the attack ads and framing your enemy, your adversary, is what happens in political campaigns.
Yep.
But like, suck it up, Buttercup. We got to turn that around, right? Like, you can't just let someone else define you. You have to say what you're about, not just what you're against.
Yeah.
And I think Democrats, what Trump is doing is unprecedented, and so we're on our heels. We're trying to figure out where to look first. So, we got to understand that we have to have a plan to know where we're going as a group, right? And stop turning our guns on each other as Democrats, right? Can we all agree that like, where the adversary is in this situation? I think that is what we owe to the American people, actually.
I loved when your rebuttal was from... Your rebuttal was from Wyandotte, Michigan. And as a Michigander, I oh my God, Wyandotte, this is where people are actually building the cars. They're pressing the steel. And I thought it was curious to ask you, what's the response there with the tariffs?
Yeah.
I mean, you're really in it, and this is America's car center.
Yeah. Well, Michigan, I think, is like uniquely positioned to be extremely vulnerable to these tariffs. One, because our manufacturing sector and how we've been working for a long time to build our supply chains with Canada, our neighbor, and then also our farming industry, right, who gets all the retaliation. What we're seeing right now is like peak uncertainty. People are just feeling like COVID times, like, I don't know what to do. Do I invest? Do I not invest? Do I build that factory? Do I not build that factory? Do I expand? Do I make those orders? And right now, the first sort of like tip-off we're seeing is cut down in like orders. So trucking is down, right? The number of hours our truck drivers are driving are going down. And I think that's just the start of this. And, if you're lucky enough to be a bigger business, you can go cut a deal with the White House, right? He's created this unbelievable marketplace of like, every country has to come to me, every industry. But if you're the small guy, the small business owner, the guy who owns a supermarket in my town, no one's cutting him a deal, and he's at risk of going under. So he's slow rolling us into a recession, and we need to be clear about that, because he promised he was going to put more money in people's pockets. It's the opposite. It's the opposite.
The UAW has backed the tariffs? Is that Am I reading that correctly?
I think I would let them speak for themselves, but I think they're either going to be really right or really wrong.
Right.
And I just don't have faith that there's some Wizard of Oz behind Donald Trump coming up with a grand plan that's going to make this all work. All I see every day is people are paying more for goods, no plan on housing, more for energy. I mean, more. So if you're the guy who said you were going to actually bring money into their pockets, instead he's making you pay in every part of your life.
Correct. Yes. And yes.
It's weird to clap for that, by the way.
Well, this audience just keeps clapping over and over again, but they don't. In your rebuttal, I love this. I'm going to make sure I get it right. You said, don't tune out. It's easy to be exhausted, but America needs you now more than ever. Pick one issue you're passionate about and engage. And doom scrolling doesn't count. The reason that connected with me was it feels so overwhelming. What do I respond to? What can I do? But the pick one issue is a nice action plan.
Yeah. I think part of what I worked on in this kind of war plan is if you're an activated person and you want to do something, do one of two things. Either go deep, particularly on an issue of democracy and corruption, because every single day he is threatening our democracy, and he is like milking the cow of America as like a full-time job, right? Or go deep on the things that really affect people's pocketbooks, right? So the economy, Social Security, healthcare, VA benefits. So one of those two categories are, to me, the place where people should go deep, and you can't tune out. It feels comforting to stop reading the news and not be engaged. But I will just tell you, as I'm the youngest Democratic female senator right now, and I wouldn't be here.
Clap! Clap!
I just have to say, like, if previous generations had given up and been like, it's really hard right now. Like, think of the women who fought for 100 years to allow me to get to this spot. Like, we don't have the right to tune out when previous generations fought and fought and fought. So, not gonna do that.
If you tuned out after the election for a week, time to tune back in. Shit's getting real. So, Senator Elissa Slotkin, thank you very much for being here.